This is the Lucy Beatrix podcast. I'm a fashion model turned athlete, and on this show, I interview people who find joy and creativity and freedom in running. Today, we were talking to someone a lot of people know in the New York City running community, and that is Miss Outside, also known as Yvonne Zapata. And Yvonne is a triathlete turned marathoner turned ultramarathoner. And she is fresh off of running the Speed Project, which is a race from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And she ran this solo. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a little overdue. We were planning to do this a few months ago, but things happened. But it's actually worked out perfectly because you're fresh off of the Speed Project. It's literally, what, a week ago that you finished?
Yeah, a week ago.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So for people who don't know, who are not in the running community, what is the Speed Project?
So the Speed Project is a race from LA to Las Vegas. It's about 340 miles, and you're going through different obstacles, different roads. You're seeing basically LA going into the mountains, to the desert, then you hit the Las Vegas sign.
Yeah, like, wow.
Yeah.
So I did the Speed Project a couple years ago, but I did the relay version, which I thought was pretty intense. I thought I was going to die. It was like so crazy. But that's where it was 5 people, 3 girls, 2 guys, or 3 guys, 2 girls, and we take turns. Which you did this too. You did the relay last year.
Yes.
In 2024, right?
Yeah, I did the relay last year. I did it with Bodega Baddies. It was a group I created with women and non-binary, where we're different groups, either in Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx. We just basically collided and collaborated, and we just ran it. I crewed this time,
Wow.
and then this year, of course, I ran it solo. But it was such a beautiful experience, and I was like, I want to come back to just run this solo.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it from like a solo perspective. Like, what is it like to just running by yourself all these miles, instead of making sure you have somebody either in an SUV or an RV to tag them saying, hey, you're it. You have to do this amount of miles, and then we'll meet you at the other segment.
So you did it with the group last year, and you guys, you had a crew, or you didn't have a crew?
Yeah, we did have a crew.
Okay, so you had a crew, and then this one, when you did it by yourself, your crew was?
Yeah, I had 5 people in my crew. So I had Ricky, I had Anna, I had Ariel, and I had Selena, I had Whitney. I had like 5 people from different run clubs, such as like We Run Uptown, Define.
Who are basically, the crew is basically the people in charge of getting you whatever you need when you're not running.
Yeah.
So like the time in between. So how do you even go about, like, I've thought about wanting to do this, but I'm just like, I don't even know like where to start. How do you decide, like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then like put together all the logistics of like a rental car, or like, what do you have to do? Like, what's all the preparation to get ready for running the Speed Project?
So the first thing is you sign up, and then after you sign up, you have to figure out who's going to be in your crew, and then
ask them
like,
if
hey,
they're free.
Can you join me for this journey for a week? Because it takes about a week to do this journey, and you'll be making sure I'm okay. You're basically being my mom or my dad during that entire race. Like, you're the parent, I'm the child.
Yeah.
Just make sure I'm okay, and in one piece going to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And when I asked people, there was people saying, no, I have work. And then, work and conflicts involved where they have to take care of their families. And someone's like, hey, I'll do it. Let me know the days. I'm in, fully want to support you in your journey. So I picked 5 people, and I was like very like hesitant on who to pick, because like they're gonna see the raw me of crying, whining, complaining, or happy, sad, emotional, like going through different stages where no one else could see that besides them.
Yeah.
So when I picked my crew, I was very thankful and blessed to know that these people like joined
are
me.
gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you choose your crew, you get that locked down. Now, how do you go about like the car? Is it one car that's driving while you're running?
So it's one car. Either you pick a SUV, a Jeep, like a Wrangler, or either you pick a RV. So I picked the RV. I didn't have no SUV, no Jeep or anything, because it was just only me. And it was like, okay, I guess I'm just me. I don't need like another Jeep or vehicle behind me,
right?
Making sure. But boy, I was wrong. I was like, okay, I should have gotten a Jeep throughout the journey. And it was
to go along with the RV.
Yeah.
As like a Sprinter van type of thing.
So it was supposed to like tailgate me behind me.
Okay.
While like there's like sketchy moments or like sketchy segments. Cause there was one part where it was like going into the mountains and it's just pitch black. And I was so scared to go alone.
Yeah, because like rattlesnakes or wolves or something.
I don't know. And I heard there was a coyotes. I was just freaking out. And I was not trying to show it that I was freaking out, but I was very like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I'm scared.
So were you alone running through that area?
So no, I wasn't. It was either my friend Ariel or either Anna or somebody from my crew that will make sure I'm okay. And they will have like their lights and I'll have my lights. But sometimes I'll be so scared and they will know I'm scared because the way I'm talking, they're like, oh, you're scared. And I'm like, yeah.
Yes, but so scared. Well, obviously. So when you're going through those situations, so like you're running, you just have to get to the next point to meet the RV, like a checkpoint almost. Like, okay, the RV is going to be 10 miles away and I just have to get to that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the person that was in charge of the RV was Ricky, and he was like, hey, this segment is 6 to 7 miles. You're going to go through here. Just make sure you make a left, right, whichever, and then you'll meet us at the end. And I was like, okay, that's no problem. But it's pitch black.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going, and sometimes there's no service.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was scared.
So how did you break up? So it took about a week, right? From start to finish, the 300 and something miles. Do you know what the total mileage was?
So I did about 240. I had to skip power line.
Okay.
Because of my toe. I want to get into that later on.
Right.
But like
the power line is like the cheat or like the shortcut. But.
It's the shortcut, but it was just, oh my God. I did not know like I was gonna do this one day, but it just happened. I'm happy that I finished it and say I did it. I will definitely go back and do it again because it was such a eyeball experience for me to just go out there and do it and represent not only like myself but my community. Yeah, it was just, oh my God.
So you have 240 miles that you've broken up over the course of 7 days, which I don't know what the math is of how many miles a day.
Yeah,
but how do you break it up? Like you have these like 10-mile chunks and then you take a rest, or how does day to day look when you're doing it?
So my day to day was planning to do 10 miles each segment. And sometimes, there's a hiccup on the road where it's like, okay, let's change the whole plan. We can't have you do this. But it was mostly do 10-mile segment, meet us at the RV, eat something, grab something, change if you have to, go back outside. It was like, you gotta keep going that momentum.
Just keep going in a direction. Yeah.
And sometimes I would stop and I would just be like, oh my God, I gotta go back out there. Yeah, and I don't want to go back out there.
How long would you rest for, like when you're taking your break of changing or whatever? What was the longest period of like downtime in between the segments?
So it was about like an hour, 30 minutes. I just needed to eat
the entire
something.
time.
Sometimes no, it would depend on how I feel. I was like, hey, like I need something, and sometimes my crew would text me, "What do you want to eat?" We have this, that, and I was like, okay, I want chicken nuggets. Give me my sweet potatoes, and I need my Pepsi right now. And they will meet me, and then they will like run towards me. They'd be like, here, take it. And I would just take it. Like I had to fuel myself, and I had to remind myself, like, even if it's a long race and I'm not hungry, I have to put something in my stomach.
Yeah, you kind of just have to be putting in calories as much as you possibly can the entire way. So when what would you say was the bottom or like the lowest point of that entire process of like you didn't know if you could keep going, or like what was like the lowest low of that entire journey?
So it was more of like I got blisters and I had an affected pinky toe where it encomposed my entire pinky. It looked like a tomato. Oh my God. My friend Whitney had to pop it. Ugh. And this was like the third or fourth day. I don't know what day, because everything was just a blur after day 2. Yeah. Because I was very delulu the entire time. Like I didn't know where I was. Yeah. People were like, where are you? Like everyone's FaceTiming, calling me. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get there.
I'm just trying to get there. Go find my iPhone, because a lot of people were just like tracking me with Find My iPhone. I was like, just find my iPhone. Then you'll figure out where I'm at.
Yeah.
But it was just so scary because I had an infected pinky toe.
How much of the race were you in by the point that happened?
So I was about to hit 150 miles. And I was like, oh my God, I never had an infected pinky toe.
So you still have 100 miles to go.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh.
And I didn't know that was happening to me. So we went to urgent care really quick. It's a segment there's just everywhere, like, stores, gas stations, an In-N-Out. I had an In-N-Out so many times over the period. Like they got me In-N-Out burgers. That was the best thing ever during that whole trip.
Yeah.
But I went into the urgent care and they were like, hey, like you got an infected pinky toe.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. They were like, we don't know if you should continue. We don't know if you should keep going. I was like, even walking? They were like, no, like we don't know if you should keep walking. Like our best suggestion is to keep walking and just stop what you're doing. And I was like, I don't want to keep going. I do want to keep going. Sorry. I want to keep going, but I just don't want to stop. I'm very big a believer of not stopping because I'm spending so much money to be here. Speed Project is so much money. You're spending so much on an RV, the gas, the food, people's time. Like, you know, people are taking like no PTO for this. I was having no PTO for this entire race. So I was like, you know what? F it. We're here. Let's continue. Yeah. Whatever happens, we're just going to get to that finish line. And that's my goal. And then we had to like literally backtrack and sit down of saying, what's our next game plan and how we're going to get you safely in one piece to Las Vegas. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? If we have to skip Powerline, because Powerline is a 40-mile segment where there's no support. You're by yourself out there. Yeah. And it's not trail. It's like rocks. Yeah.
When I did it, I wasn't on the Powerline segment. It was like overnight. And like that was the one that I did like the Death Valley segment, but I didn't do Powerline. And I heard the horror story. Like when my teammates came back from it, they were just like, this was the most traumatic experience of all time because it was just so crazy. But so you were skipping that.
I was skipping that.
That makes sense.
And I said, hey, like, you know, I have an infected toe. I need somebody with me. I need to bedded my entire toe where I had to put like, you know, alcohol, clean it every segment. So every segment after that, I had to go back in the RV to just clean it really quick, wrap it, put new socks and get back out there again and again and again. Wow. I kept changing my socks every segment.
So, okay, how many, like, okay, the RV, did you have a shower on your RV?
Yes, but no one showered. Everybody hated me.
So it was a week of no showering for you and anyone else.
Yeah, they were not used to it at all. They were like
part of it, I guess.
And we took sink baths. So we would stop at like a gas station like at night and we would do like white bees or like a sink bath. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. It was just so, it was hysterical.
It's grody. Yeah.
And like we'll brush our teeth or we'll have a water bottle and we'll have a toothbrush and then we would just toothbrush out like outside the RV. And like if we had to go pee or anything or take number 1 or 2, it was the woods. I was like, how it is, have fun. Like we had our white bees, we had everything. Like
welcome to the Speed Project.
Welcome. And then my moon was facing so many ways of throughout the trip. I was like, okay, I guess this is it. Like
it really teaches you like how much you can get by on less. Like you're like, oh wow, I spent a whole week like with nothing but myself, like running and like, you know, or like just, you know, the bare minimum of survival. And then when you finally did take a shower, what was that like?
Oh my God, I cried because I had a room with my crew. I was like, oh my God, it's here. And I cried so much in that shower because it's like me thinking of like how many people that are out here that are homeless that don't have the opportunity to take a shower, that don't have the opportunity to eat. And it's like you have that eye experience of like, oh my God, like there's people that are struggling that don't have nothing. Yeah. And this is showing me like so much of what we should be grateful for. Totally. Because it's like we take everything for advantage and we don't say, oh my God, like, you know, at least we have a home, at least we get to shower.
That's true. I think that that's a really interesting takeaway from the Speed Project of the idea that like it teaches you how privileged we are in our normal day-to-day life. Like I can relate to that feeling of just like thinking like, wow, like there are so many people who do just have to live like this. Like they don't have the opportunity to just take a shower or something. So it gives you a lot of perspective on like what you actually need or like how much like luxuries we have in our everyday life. But so when you were preparing for the Speed Project, like training wise, how do you train for an ultra marathon like that?
I just did a lot of mileage. It was mostly like long miles, making sure my body is just getting equipped to standing up. So I would stand up for a period, long time to just get, you know, like, okay, we're going to stand up for this amount of hours. If I need to walk, I'll take a long walk or either I would just do my own mileage. Sometimes I will have to not go to community runs just to do my own long runs. And it sucked because it's like I had to learn how to stop for like 5 seconds and then keep going because you know in the Speed Project you're stopping for a period of time and then you got to go back out there and keep going and going. And it was just me doing long mileage like every single week. I did like about 50 to 60 miles
a week.
Yeah. But it was a
just
lot on my body.
On feet. Yeah. Getting your time on feet down. So what was do you have any memories or anything about like the Death Valley portion? Was it ever really hot? Like how did the elements like affect you during the speed project?
So day 1, day 2, it was hot. It was very brutal where the sun was just beaming, and I was so used to running in the cold. We had a cold winter in New York.
Yeah. It's still winter now.
It's still winter now. So it's like, I couldn't really like process me running in the heat.
All at once right away for like several days. Yeah.
And I couldn't really like, I was like, oh my God, I'm running in the heat. I did not train for this heat. I trained in the cold, brutal cold, low 5 degrees. Like the highest was like 40, 50, but it was just so hot. And then a couple other days it got nicer. It was more like, okay, this is more spring. This is more demure, more cutesy. Yeah. And I'm like, this is like, what I like. I could do this. I have an
infected toe, but I could do it.
I had an infected toe. And sometimes I would walk. Like if it's hot, I would just walk.
That's smart too, because it keeps you at least going versus running and then burning yourself out and you have to stop.
And I was trying to burn myself out the first 2 days, and I was like, I can't do this to myself.
If you're going to sustain, it's like you have to kind of pull it back. That's a huge thing, I think, with doing the speed project alone. I'm guessing because I obviously haven't done it, but like just the endurance of it, of just like, what can I do? What pace can I just keep holding? And for a lot of that, it might just be walking, but just getting you in that direction and moving forward some way versus just standing still.
It was an experience that I will definitely do again. I would love to do again, but that freaking the whole entire weather was just bipolar. Like I'm like, what's gonna happen? I was like, oh, it's gonna be hot, oh, it's gonna rain. Oh, like thank God we didn't have no rain. Last year when I did a relay, it was snow.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
it was snowing.
I remember that. It was like snowing. That was the weirdest. That never happens.
It was snow and it was cold. It was raining. It was hail. And I had completely different weather where it was hot, it was breezy, and there was times where it was just cold, but it was cold during the early morning, because my day started at around 3 a.m.
The first day of the speed project was from Santa Monica, started at 3 a.m.
It started at 4 a.m. but like the rest of the week where I was running, I started at 3 a.m. on the dot. So I woke up at 2:30 a.m., got myself together, my crew will make me my breakfast, get my clothes on. Sometimes I would take my time. They were like, Yvonne, get your butt up, you have about like 10 minutes to get outside, because I was just so over it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was telling them, I can't wait to be in my bed. I can't wait. Like I was just like, they saw me complain so much. Like I never like done this before. So it was my first ultra, and have never done an ultra before ever. So it was just like, oh my God, like I can't believe I'm experiencing something that I never thought I would say I will not do, but now I'm doing it now. And it was just eye-opening. Like it was so cool to just say, oh, this is how my body feels after much miles. And sometimes like I will have like people text me saying, oh my God, you're doing amazing, we're seeing you live, because I had a live every time to keep everyone updated, because there's no tracker to see how you're doing. It's either you're alerting them, say, hey, I'm at this mile, I'm feeling great, we're in somewhere, and we're gonna keep going. But I didn't know where I was after day 3. I was just like, I need to get to this finish line somehow, some way, and just finish. But it was so much that happened. Like I got chased by dogs.
So tell me, like, what was the most? Which point do you feel like was the most dangerous? Because I know for myself, like my mom was terrified when I did it. She's like, oh my God, like where are you? Like, what if something bad happens like that? Like an animal bites you? What would you say is the most dangerous that you felt like, where you're like, I don't know if I can keep going like this, is like my life is on the line, or if you ever got to that point?
So it was a lot of times, but the first time was when we went through the woods, the mountains, and my friend, he was like, you have to go in there. And I'm like, in there? And it was just pitch black.
And there's like no path?
There was a path. Like it was a huge path, but it looked so dangerous. And they said no trucks or no vehicles beyond this point. And I'm like, oh my God. I can't believe I have to go through this.
But you had your friend with you.
I had my friend Adio with me.
Do you have like a headlamp or something?
I had a headlamp. He had like a huge like light, like a little light thing, whatever. And we just kept going. And he kept trying to play with me. He was like, hey, look over there. There's eyes. I'm like, don't tell me. He's like, yeah, I see eyes. I'm like, do not tell me that. Because I just did not want to look over there, look anywhere. But there was one point where we almost fell off a cliff. And there was like this one tiny like section where it got smaller, the road, And my friend Ricky's like, I don't think I can keep going because if I keep going, it's not going to break. So my friend Ariel, he ran down. He's like, you know what? Let me run down. And it was a huge downhill. Whoa. And if you keep going, you may have to make a sharp left. And if you do not make that sharp left while you're driving, and there's a cliff right there, you're dead. Whoa. You're fucked and stuff. But it was just
that's scary.
It was so scary. And I was like, oh my God, like, thank God we looked before we even got down. And they asked me, do you still want to do the segment? I said, yes, I still want to do the segment. I'm still here. I want to keep going. Why don't you guys back up and just meet us at the other side of this other segment when it's over? So that's what they did. And I asked somebody else to come with me besides Ariel. So my best friend Anna went with me. And we just started we were just talking, like we were having like a regular conversation, acting like if we're in Central Park. But it was more like I needed them to talk to me. It was 3 a.m. and we heard things and things moving, but I was just like, come on, let's keep going. And there was no service. We were so scared because some points,
if something happens, what do? You can't call anyone.
I can't call anybody, and they don't have, you remember, it's Find My iPhone, so they have my location to Find My iPhone. How can they really know where I'm at and how far I am from the end of that segment? Right. So that was just so scary. And another scary part was when me and her were running before we hit the mountains, and it was just pitch black and there was no service, and she tried to get satellite somewhere so we can call our friends, because we were like, how long this segment? He said it was 10 miles. It's past 10 miles. And I was just so scared because I thought I lost them. But then when I found flashlights and I saw them, I ran to them crying like, oh my God, it's you guys. And it was just,
it's like, you just don't know. I totally know that feeling where you're just kind of like looking, like you're like, okay, they said 10 miles, and it's like you're looking for the meeting checkpoint thing, or like the RV, and you're not seeing it. You're like, well, how much longer do I have to go? And every step that's past that point, it's just like panic. But so then when you got to that part, that's like when you can start to see the outline of Vegas, or like, you're getting kind of close. What was that like?
It was more like, oh my God, I'm finally almost there. I can't wait. I just want to finish. Like, my goal was just to finish. I did not care who was in front of me, back of me. I just want to be done, because I was just so over it. And I was very delulu, where I was just like, okay, I don't know how many miles, but this is how we're going to get there, and we're going to keep going. And I just kept going. I just I had like firm belief.
Get yourself to the sign.
Just get myself to the sign, however which way I can do right now. But it's just my foot. I was on a lot of antibiotics and painkillers throughout that whole entire race, where I couldn't even feel my toe. I couldn't. But if I felt it, I was like, guys, we need to stop for a second. I need to take my meds right now.
Just to get to that.
And I took my meds.
Is that stuff that you got from the urgent care when they checked it out?
They had to. They told me that I had to, because it was infected. And my whole skin came out. My whole nail came out. So my toe looks like a naked mole rat right now. Where it looks disgusting.
It's a badge of honor, because it's like you got to run the speed product, but you lost your toe nail in the process.
And it's like when you balance, when you're running, your whole toes are helping you balance your entire run. So it's like, if I was to go through Powerline, I don't know how it will be.
I think that was a really strategically smart move to have skipped that, especially because you're alone. I think if you're on a relay team, it's like other people can break it up and whatever. But if you're alone, that's just like a lot, and it's just so technically hard.
It was so hard.
But so, like, real quick, there's something to be said about your style. Like, you're a very stylish runner. You're very into like the swag, and like like if you look at your Instagram, I was just like looking at all your pictures, and I was like, okay, there's just like a big vibe here. What kind of gear did you dress yourself in, or like, is there any brands or apparel? What's your favorite running apparel?
So it was Planet Nusa. They're in Berlin. They're in like Copenhagen. They sent me a bunch of cute stuff, and I was just like, I'm gonna wear this. Oh, cool. And then Lululemon provided me gear. On provided me gear. It was just very stylish.
What were your shoes that you were wearing?
So I was wearing the On Trail and Hoka Trail.
Okay,
so
cool.
I love those.
You were wearing trail shoes. How much of it were you actually on like the shoulder of a road? Because I remember when I did, there were like periods where we're like on like road for part of it. Were you on road at all, or?
I had to be on road because it was just no sidewalk or nothing. And sometimes I was end up in a highway where I was on the freeway.
I kind of remember.
That was scary.
Yeah, because there's like these fast trucks going by you. That's terrifying.
You don't know if
they see you.
If they see you, because one hit, you're done.
You're dead. Yes, I know. That's the scariest part.
No one understands that.
I know, nobody understands it. But I remember the exact same feeling where I was just like, this is so scary because I'm like afraid a semi is just going to hit me while I'm running.
Me too.
Like a little curve. But I also feel like there are so many teams doing it that I do think that like, I would hope that like they're seeing all these other runners and stuff. But how many people did the Speed Project solo?
About 40 something, I believe. It was a lot of women and non-binary, which was great to see. I feel like we needed more women and non-binary on that Pacific start line, because, you know, when people see solo, they just think immediately men running it, not women and non-binary. So just seeing that alone was just amazing. And then the Speed Project provided a program, and it was for women and non-binary. It was the Radical Equality Program, where they provided like information, training, anything that you need. Like, it was just a whole program
to kind of facilitate more women and non-binary runners. That's interesting. So now, knowing what you know now from this experience doing it by yourself, you said you want to do it again.
I would definitely do it
What
again.
would you do differently knowing what you know now?
It was more of making sure I have to look at the route to know what segments do I need to have support with me. Because I was like, okay, this is the route. Let's study it. Okay. And then there were some routes where we will go in with the RV and we'll have cliffs. I'm like, back it up, back it up. They were like, you want to keep going? You want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, back it up. You guys got to meet me on the other side. And we had to just take a quick game plan.
Yeah. So how did you do the original route? Like this time that you did it, like who made the route the first time?
So I basically stole maps from different crews, different leaders. And I would see like their maps from like Strava, and I'm like, okay, I'm saving this. That's saving this.
That's a really good way to do it.
Yeah,
that's interesting, because I kind of was wondering that. I'm like, how do people know where to go? But so you kind of just looked into, you did your own research and found a route.
Yeah.
So now, if you did it again, you would change, knowing when to, you would map out the segments and make sure you had support. What other stuff, like would you do anything to prevent getting some kind of a toe infection?
Yes, just make sure I have blister tape or blister band-aids with me. I had K-tape, and I believe that's what happened, like the friction of my sneaker with my sock, and then with that, that's what caused my infection. Now I know, like, okay, next time let's get you blister band-aids so you could be knowing what the hell you're doing and stuff. So it was did
you run into any kind of like stomach problems? Like,
no.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Because like for me, I remember I just like, my stomach was horrible. It was like just a nightmare. But so that says a lot. Yeah. What do you think is what helped you not have any kind of issues? Because that's a huge thing with ultra marathons, is like gastrointestinal problems and stuff. So what helped you not have any problems with that?
It was more just eating the right amount of times. Like my friend Whitney, she's like, you need potassium. She gave me a banana. You need this right now. Gave me a water. You need this. Give me pasta. She's like, you got to eat. You got to fuel yourself.
So was Whitney's role like the fueling?
Yeah.
Like
she was making sure I fueled
everything.
And she was on point with it. Like, let's eat this right now. You need to eat this. And then when I had my vest, she packed me like gummy bears, candy worms, sandwiches, water. And every time she was like a teacher, if you come back and you finish your test, you're like, let's see what's wrong and let's see what's right. So she looked at my vest. She's like, you did not even eat this. Why are you not eating this? And she's like, you see this? This is still full. Why we're not drinking this? And I'm like, oh, I'm not. She's like, I don't care if you're full or not. You need to drink this right now. And it was more fueling myself. And I'm happy that I had no stomach pains, no like bathroom problems or anything. Like if I had to go, like I will go during my segment and I'll find a tree somewhere or something, or if not, the entire highway will see my moon. But it was just more like, okay, I'm fine. And I kept going, and I was eating so much. Like I think I lost weight, I gained weight. I don't know what I was feeling, but I was just eating so much. Like I have to be. Yeah, I ate so much sandwiches. I had so much seltzer, water, Pepsi. I had candy. I had macaroni and cheese, the cup ones. I had a cup of noodles. I had chicken nuggets. I had Tostino rolls. Tostino's rolls were my favorite throughout the whole trip. It was more like I would just microwave them and I would just eat it. Like it was so
that's
good.
Amazing. So that's good tips about like just like fueling by eating, like being on a good schedule, eating a lot. And it sounds like also just having the person who's like there making sure that you're eating, that's huge, because it just keeps you kind of like, because when you're doing it, you're not like, it's hard to like remember to do all the steps that you need to be doing, but having other people kind of keep you on the right track.
Yeah.
So since you've been back and you finished the race, what has been the reception? Like what kind of feedback have you gotten? I noticed, I saw on your Instagram, like you had like some kind of party or something, or like people were celebrating. Has it been like fun to enjoy like the whole thing? And
yeah, it's been fun to enjoy. It's been fun to be able to get the support that I get from a lot of people. Sometimes people won't say like, you didn't finish. That's on you, because I didn't finish the whole entire thing, where I just only did 240 miles, where they didn't see it as their eyes of me as a finisher. But I was like, F the noise.
Yeah.
Let's continue to celebrate us.
Yeah.
So I continue to celebrate me. And, I've been around positive, beautiful people. Oh, snap. Like positive, beautiful people around me. Like they took me out. I've been going out. I don't ever go out like that, like I used to. Even I'm young, but like I don't go out like I used to, like in my late like teens, where I used to be like, okay, let's go outside, let's do this. And I'm like, it's amazing. People have been throwing me like parties. Yeah. People have been taking me out to drink, to eat, to like come over when they can. Like I had some people come over to my house the other time. It was great. And like there's people that have been sending me messages, FaceTiming me. And the one thing that asked me, how do I feel? And I was like, what do you mean? Like mentally, I'm like, I'm still in the desert. I'm not here. Yeah. Mentally, I'm not here yet. Like it still hasn't processed, because once I finished this race, I had to go straight to work. So I
you had to go straight to, and so it's probably worth mentioning. So you work in special education, and so you're a teacher.
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
So your schedule, like that's who you are day to day. Like your work life is that. So it is interesting to think you have like this other alter ego where you're like running in the marathon or ultra marathon in the desert, and then you're coming right back to work. How many days did you have after you finished until?
So I took a week off without no pay, and then I had like one personal day, and I used that on Monday when I came back, and then I slept the whole entire day. Once I came back home, I just slept. When I got back to work, everybody's like, oh my God, how are you? We heard that you ran. Congratulations. Oh my God. And my kids looked at me like if they haven't seen me in years. They looked at me like, oh, you're back. And some of them are nonverbal. So they were just like, oh, Yvonne. Like they have to say my first name sometimes. I'd be like, yay, Yvonne. I was like, yay, me. Aww. And sometimes they hug me. Like they were happy to see me. Some of the kids in that school, they were like, we heard you ran. How are you feeling? But sometimes they will see me like going downstairs, because I was like, I look like a crippled person where I'm just trying to walk because I was still hurting. But they were just so happy to see me. I got so much love from my boss and like the administrators and like the teachers. It was so amazing to just receive that love when I got back to work.
I think it's pretty awesome to think that your students and your peers at the school, that people can look at you and see you in the school context and then just be like, wow, this person is doing really big things. And it's not every day. Like that's a really unusual thing, because like people know people who run marathons, but to go do something like that is like a whole other level. So I think it's probably pretty inspiring for those people to see what's possible, to like have that kind of a life outside of the education setting. But speaking of regular marathons, which is only 26.2 miles compared to the Speed Project, you're also a pretty established marathoner, because you've run 7 marathons, right?
Yes.
And how many of those were world majors?
So it was 5 out of the 6.
So you're going for your 6th star?
I'm going to my 6th star. I have to do Boston again. I didn't get my time. I got cut off by 2 minutes. I'm going to go back to Boston when I have the time and the energy.
This part of that whole time qualifier thing? Yeah. It's like, I've heard a lot about this. So you have to go back to do it to get the, I
have to go back to
But you've done Boston.
I've done Boston. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I love the atmosphere, just being around different crews, but not like, it was just weird. But I would love to go back to just do it and actually get a finishing time and get my star, because I didn't get my star that time.
So yeah, real quick, if there's anyone listening who doesn't really know, like there's this thing of like, there's all these world major marathons, and 6 of them in all the cities or whatever, in like, Paris, London, Tokyo, Chicago, and then Boston. But Boston has like a rule, they have to finish it under a certain time, and it's controversial because it's kind of like whatever you finished, like that's the way that it should be. But like that race definitely has its like their old school ways. But so that said, you have completed 5 out of the 6. And what is the last one that you're
Tokyo?
Yeah. So that's the last one you have to do.
Yeah, the last one I have to do. So I'm gonna probably do it some way, somehow, get a bib. I've been trying every year. They always reject me. I don't know if Tokyo likes me
It's a hard one to get into.
It's so hard, but I would love to go to Tokyo and take like at least a month there to just explore, be able to go to Disneyland over there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the Disney marathon.
Yes.
Because you do the Disney marathon. That's some of the ones that you've done. I noticed on your Instagram that you had some Disney races.
Yes.
So what's your relationship with Disney?
So I've been going to Disney since I was 5 years old. It's like my home. My dad always took me and my sisters there every year. Ever since my 5th birthday, I've been going every year. Like, it's like my comfort, like my comfort place where you do not worry about what's happening on the outside real world. You're just there living your best life and just having an amazing time. And I feel like with Disney, like it holds a childhood with me where it's just me and my dad. That's how we bonded so much. And me and him have the same birthday. So I just bond with him through Disney. And now he works there now. So I just go there for free and I just go and just spend time with him. And like all I have to do is just pay for my flight and I get to just be there and just have the best time. And sometimes this is a toxic runner trait of me. I'm like, okay, let's see what time I can go to Disney, but also run a race.
Exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes I look and I sign up and I tell my dad, hey, I guess I'm doing another Disney race. He's like, okay, I guess I got to wake up at 2 a.m. because the wake up time is brutal. You have to wake up at 2 a.m.
What is the story with that? So they try to do the race really early in the day so that then they can open the park?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get up by like 2 a.m., get to the parking lot at the Epcot parking lot at like 3 something. The race starts at 4 a.m. You finish by like 8 a.m. You're done.
Yeah.
But you're just so tired because the next day you have to do like a 10K or a half.
Oh yeah, because there's like a challenge of all the races in a row.
So
the dopey challenge. Yeah.
So
I have a friend named Bruce who's obsessed with all this stuff.
Oh my God, I think I know him.
You do?
I think I see him on Instagram.
That's funny because I always see his races. Like I kind of follow like along of all that. But that's so funny. So you have this relationship with Disney that now you've turned it into like an outlet to do these races. How many Disney races have you run?
I ran the Springtime Surprise Challenge last year. I ran the Princess one this year. I ran just the marathon this year. And then I've done like a couple, like I'm still trying, I want to do the Wine and Dine. That's in November, trying to get it. I'm running New York City Marathon this year. So I got in and stuff. Yeah, this announcement, I'm running New York City Marathon this year and stuff. So yeah.
Do you want to say the other race you're running after the New York City Marathon?
Oh.
Or before?
Before Chicago. Yeah. I'm running both. I'm running both.
Chicago, New York, and then maybe this Wine and Dine Disney Marathon?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can trying to see how I can
so it's called Wine and Dine, and is it a full marathon?
It's a 5K, 10K and a half, but it's a full challenge.
Okay.
But what I love about it is the medals because they're so creative with like each Disney movie. So the Springtime Surprise last year, it was the Hakuna Matata one where they had Simba running, and then there was the Lilo and Stitch, the 626 Ohana challenge, which was the whole entire Springtime Surprise challenge. They had like the 5K, they had like the Princess one, which is the Mulan 5K. 10K was like the Aladdin, Princess Jasmine. Then 13.1 was the Aurora. Then of course the whole thing was the Sleeping Beauty and Snow White challenge. So it was amazing to just collect those medals because I love Disney.
Yeah.
So I just hang them up and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And the merch is amazing.
Yeah.
It's not expensive, but it's amazing. I love the merch. I just love going to like these races because it's like you're running through all these like amusement parks in Disney. You hear the music and you're just like having the best time of your life. It's like you're a little kid and the costumes are amazing. I don't know if you've seen the costumes.
I have.
But people have gone all out. So I went all out for Disney Princess.
Were you dressed as a Disney princess?
Yeah, so I was dressed up as Princess Mia from Princess Diaries.
Amazing.
I had the glasses, the tiara, and I had the long, gloves. And I had all white because, that was an OG movie.
And that's what you're running in?
Yeah, so I had an OG.
Awesome.
Like, that's the OG movie that I grew up watching with my sisters. So I was like, I need to be Princess Mia.
Yeah.
Then for the half, I was Princess Ariel. This is when I had my red hair back then. And I had the little fish stars, and I had like the purple top with the, green pants or the green shorts. And I loved it. Amazing. And it was great. And I took pictures everywhere. I was like, I'm taking my time. This is no PR race. This is amazing.
I think that kind of a race is very conducive to just having fun and not be like so in your head competitive about it. Like it's just like enjoying the vibes and the community, because everybody else doing that race is like on the same page of just like, we're here for the fun of it, like dressing in a certain way. But speaking of community, how would you describe the New York City community of running, and like where you fit into that, like which team you run with, which groups, all of that good stuff?
So when I started running in 2019, I started with Boogie Down Bronx Runners, and I was with Team RWB, and I was just running triathlons. Like that was before running came into everything else. It was just triathlons. So I was a triathlete first before a runner, and I'll go with Boogie Down to the track on Thursdays, and Lenny was there, and he always raffled off Yankee tickets, and I would always win. I don't know why.
That's awesome. Wait,
so
that's
every time,
so random.
Every time I went there, I had manifested. I'm like, I'm gonna win these tickets because I love the Yankees, and I will always win. But I loved their vibe. Like their vibe was just always about community and bringing people together. And it didn't matter what pace, like you still belong there. So then that's when I started to run with them more. Then I'm like, okay, there's more running crews, just the Bronx. Let's start going out somewhere. So I started myself just going to different groups and just being there. And they were like, who are you? I was like, oh, my name is Yvonne. Like, it was not Miss Outside, it was just Yvonne. And I just started like showing up, just showing love. And then one day, it was like the Washington Heights 5K. That's my favorite race.
I've heard really good things about that race.
And I always PR that race. It's amazing race. It's a hard course, but it's so much fun. And then I kept saying we outside on the megaphone, and everybody was like, outside, okay. And then that's when the next day my friend, she was like, hi, Miss Outside, how are you, since you're always outside? And I was like, Miss Outside, that sounds like a ring to it. So I kept calling myself Miss Outside. And then that's when everyone started calling me Miss Outside. So then it just started growing more.
But it's not just Miss Outside. It's Miss Outside.
Yeah, Miss Outside.
There's a lot of E's. 6 E's, right? Or
yes, five
yeah,
E's.
5 E's.
And I just started just running with people in different boroughs. Like I moved to Brooklyn in 2022. And I was moving in with my current boyfriend that I have now. And I was just like, oh my God, like I don't know any run crews. And then that's when people were telling me go to GFTC. So I went to GFTC with Jerry, ran with him. Then I started to know more about communities where I was like, okay, let's go to other communities. Then I got to learn about Women Make Moves with Tammy. Such an amazing group. That's the group I run with now. Okay. They are located in Bushwick, Best-Eye. Okay. Around there. And we run from Urban Asanas. It's an all Black owned woman yoga studio.
Oh, cool. So you've kind of bounced around the different teams. Yes. And then you're also a run leader or pacer for the No Name program?
So for No Name. So I run with No Name during the summer. I pace either 12, 13, sexy pace. We're party people in the back, and I just vibe and I just see how everyone's
there are people who are marathon training. So it's kind of like the long run pacer for that. That's really awesome. So yeah, you're kind of like all around the different running communities. And funnily enough, the way that we met is because I did a photo shoot a couple years ago. I think it was like February of 2023.
Yes.
And you were on set when I got there, and I could hear you talking to the makeup artist or something, and I was like, who is this person? But what we were shooting was the billboard in Times Square that we were both on.
Oh my God. That was so cool.
Kind of a life-changing experience for both of us.
Oh my God.
But so describe that experience in general. Like, what was that like, from the start to finish, like doing the shoot and then seeing yourself? And
so they told me in the email, hey, we heard about you. Come in, do a photo shoot to represent women for All Women's History Month, International Women's Month. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is so cool. I'm down to do it. So that's when we did the photo shoot. I felt like such a movie star because the way they did my makeup, the way they asked me what I wanted to drink, the way they just put clothes on me, I was like, I never got a chance to do this. This is so cool. And then, we met during the photo shoot, and it was just so cool to have you and I believe Soraya there. And we all had like such I remember time.
In the moment, I knew it was ultimately supposed to be a billboard in Times Square. But I was like, what is that actually going to be?
Exactly.
And then when it was International Women's Day, I wasn't actually physically in New York, but my friend was and took the picture of the billboard.
Oh my God.
And then I saw your picture, and I was just like, oh my God. So what was it like when you were standing in Times Square on the main billboard seeing yourself?
It was such it was so unbelievably real. Like, I didn't know that this was gonna happen to me, because I'm always in Times Square with my dad. My dad always takes me to Times Square. My dad used to work at the Crown Plaza Hotel on 42nd Street before it shut down.
Wow.
And I would always hang out there. So now, from hanging out with my family there every Saturday to now going to Times Square and seeing yourself on a big, huge billboard was just eye-opening, because I did not know that it was gonna happen around this time. And it's just, everyone started hitting me and saying, oh my God, congrats. Like, it was just like, I couldn't picture myself, because women that look like me, like, we're not usually up on there. Like, we're usually like somewhere else, but it's just to see that and to represent myself. And like, I had my Puerto Rican necklace on, so I decided not to take that off during the photo shoot, because that's how I identify myself, as a Puerto Rican Latino woman. And there was another girl, I believe her name is Nora, and she was like, I know that you were Puerto Rican because I saw that necklace.
Wow.
And she was also Puerto Rican.
Wow.
And I was like, that's amazing. I got to see her, and she was also like on the Billboard too.
Cool.
And I don't know if she did it like another time or another way, but she was on that Billboard too.
Wow.
And I met her whole family, and like, we just connected, and it was just so beautiful.
It's pretty awesome to think that you got to be on a billboard in Times Square as yourself,
Yes.
as a runner, and
Yes.
just like completely you, not just like, you know, someone modeling for something. It was like you're there as yourself for what you've done and who you are in the running community. So
Yes.
that's pretty cool. I feel like that was like such a special experience, and there are only a few people on the planet that we all got to experience that on the same day for International Women's Day. But what other kinds of running related like photo shoot, branding, campaign type things have you done? Because I know I saw something about like the New York Marathon at one point.
Yes, New York City Marathon, I've done it. It was crazy, because I always told Jerry, like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I really want to be a part of the New York City Marathon campaign. I kept manifesting. I'm very big on manifestation of knowing what's going to happen to me. I kept writing down, this is going to happen to me one day. It's going to happen, just so whatever. Then I spoke to a lady named Jen, and she found me on Instagram. She's like, hey, you have been heard a lot from a lot of the community, and I want you to be a part of this photo shoot for New York City Marathon. I had to drop my phone, and I was just like, oh my God, it's happening. Yeah. And I was just so excited. And then when we got on the call, it was other friends from the community that I have run with. So it was much more special. And I was just like, share
it with other people.
So I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait till this come out. Because I didn't tell nobody until it came out. And I was like, okay, it's going to drop. So when it drops, it's going to happen. And when it dropped, everybody would just start freaking out saying, you didn't tell us that you were doing this. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to keep it a secret, make it big. And it was just so amazing to just be able to be a part of that, and, you know, representing not only myself, but the other communities. Because when everyone sees me, they see me on Miss Outside representing all the crews. So me just seeing myself on like different platforms of like the expo, sometimes on a bus, a train, like I will see my face everywhere, on a newspaper. Like, that was so cool.
It's amazing.
Like, everybody was like, oh, like even like people from outside the country, like, oh, you're on that billboard. I was like, yes. And they would take pictures of me, and they were like, oh my God, it's so cool. Congrats. Hope you framed this and stuff. And I was like, thank you. And I had a friend that took some parts of the expo, like the huge like picture of me there. And she was like, hey, I have a present for you. This is from the expo. And I'm like, where am I going to hang this in my house?
Your picture of yourself.
And she was like, you can hang this by the windows. But I still have it in my storage unit right now. But it's a huge picture of just me standing. And that was so cool.
That's really
But
awesome.
I got to keep that. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
that's so cool.
I don't know how I might have a mansion one day. Let's see. And I'll just frame that. Yeah. So I'm just going to, I don't know how to describe it. It was just so amazing.
It's got to feel pretty validating that it's just like everything coming full circle of like when you think of something like amazing that could happen to you, then it actually does. That's pretty cool. Especially because you're like planting the seeds. Like if you're, you know, if you're doing the work, like you're going and running and like being out there, I think that like naturally these things are going to show up. These opportunities and stuff will come your way. What kind of things are you kind of like manifesting now that you like want to see happen, that you hope happen?
I want to do more ultra marathons. I feel like the ultra marathoning kicked in now, where I got the bug after
now
TSP.
that you know you can do it, you're like,
yeah, I'm like, okay,
it.
let's see what 50 miler or 100 miler that I could do one day. And I could just run it like outside of New York. Because, you know, when you're doing the speed project, you're not only going through different obstacles, but you're seeing the whole landscape of it. And it's so beautiful. Like the amount of photos I took in TSP were just the views. And it was not just me, it was just the views. And it's so like, I'm like, New York or nowhere. Like, you can never get this back in New York. Like, sometimes I would take a picture and be like, oh guys, look, that's Central Park, and it would just be sand. And then there was times where I would just like picture myself like, wow, like I'm waking up to this, I'm running through this. This is not Central Park, this is not Prospect Park, this is not McCarran Park where you're doing track. This is like the middle of nowhere where it's so beautiful. And I feel like we take advantage of like what we see around us when we're racing outside of New York. And it was just so cool to just experience that, where, you know, you're running and you're seeing so many beautiful things, and you're seeing the sunset and the sunrise. Like, I got to see the stars.
Amazing.
I got to see so much. And like, I had to take a moment and where it's like, I'm happy and I'm grateful to be alive, because around like July, I got hit by a car.
That's right.
Yeah, I got hit by a car in July, so I was not running. So I took that moment to myself saying, wow, like I didn't run for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
And now I'm running.
So back up.
Las
This
Vegas.
is something that I definitely want to talk about. So you were basically training for something. What were you training for when you got
I was
hit?
training for Chicago Marathon and every women's marathon. I wanted to do it, and then all of a sudden I got hit in front of my house, of course.
You're just crossing the road or something?
Yeah, crossing the road, and got hit. And the guy, he hit me, and it was a blur. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up to walk.
So you go down on the ground.
Yeah, I went down the ground. I couldn't put any weight. It was hurting. And they were like, yeah, you tore your ligaments, your tendons. You are out for about 8 to 9 weeks.
Wow.
And I cried.
So you had to skip the races. Like, you're not running any races anytime soon after that. And what was broken?
Nothing broke, thank God. It was mostly like ligaments, tendons were just torn.
Really hard to heal.
Yeah, it was very hard to heal. And I was just crying because I love racing. I love marathons, and I love doing what I do. Like, I feel like that's like the best thing that anyone could ask for. And it's like, for me to not do what I love is just me trying to figure out who am I besides running. And it was so hard to sit and dwell with that for the past few weeks. And I had to learn so much of like, if I had no running, if I took out running, besides me being Miss Outside, who am I as an individual? And I got to learn like, okay, I like to do this. I like to bake. I like to color. I like to draw. I like to hang out with my friends. But who am I, like, deeper into like, what can I do besides just run and work out? Because I was just losing my mind, not running or doing anything. Like, I will go to like different races and I not run, and just like, it was amazing to see cheering people on, but it hurt inside because it's like, wow, like I wish it was me this year, like running and doing what I love to do, but it sucked.
So maybe that downtime though, when you couldn't run because of the getting hit by a car, taught you who you can be when you're not running, but then it also might have fostered a very deep appreciation for when you do return to running, when you did return to running, that you could like appreciate it even more. Because you're like, oh, I know what it feels like to not have this. So now I'm going to go run from Santa Monica to Las Vegas.
that was like my biggest like comeback. I'm like, I want to run this. I want to challenge myself to something that I never thought I would do. Because everybody's like, run an ultra one day. And I said, no, I would never.
Right.
And all of a sudden, okay, I'm running solo. And when I announced that, everyone was freaking out. They're like, oh my God, you're doing it. And I always said I would never do anything above 100 miles or 26.2. And now I did the speed project, and now you've got that bug where you want to do more. I want to do more.
Who are some of the either the runners or who are the heroes that you look up to, of people that you aspire to be like, or like, you know, guiding lights, mentors, people like that?
Usually it will be my mom. My mom has always been a big impact in my life, where I saw her run throughout my years when I was younger, where she had done marathons, she had done triathlons, Ironmans, and like she got me into doing that. And then like other leaders like Coffee, of course, he always like teaches me like, you know, it's you versus you, or, you know, you being here is so important, like keep going. And like other leaders like my friend Tammy, like she impacted me so much of like, you know, you're a woman, you are Latina, we need to show more of that. We need to show more people that we matter and we represent here. And, you know, there's a lot, like my boyfriend, he's been a big impact in my life because he's the person that says, just keep going, just keep doing what you have to do. Don't stop. And like, you know, I have really good friends and family that have been there for me since day one. It's like, I'm very grateful for that.
So your family's overall really supportive and excited about all this stuff. Did anyone kind of say, are you sure about running the speed project? Like, this seems like a really dangerous thing.
My mom was just like, don't tell me it's this race that you did last year, but with a relay. And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, I don't know how you're going to do this, but you're going to do it. You'll get there. Mm-hmm. And I was telling people, they were like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, they were like, this is really big. Yeah, like, you're doing
people
this.
People hear LA to Vegas and they're kind of
yeah,
like, this is a
they're
really
like,
big thing.
Oh my God. And like, they would ask me, do I need help with anything? I was like, I'll figure it out. I'm just learning as the way I go. And I was just training. And people were saying like, you're everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I've just been running. Like my whole training block has just been running. I was training for like 25 weeks of just straight running every day.
Wow.
Like running in the dark, running in the morning, running at night, running during like when it's raining sometimes, or like in a blizzard.
All conditions, all elements. So you on the radar now, you've got Chicago coming up in the early fall, then the New York Marathon, then potentially the Wine and Dine Disney.
Yes.
What other races and exciting things do you have that you're looking forward to this year?
I'm doing the mini 10K. The mini 10K is my favorite.
The women's mini 10K. Yeah, that's amazing.
I love that one. That race. And then I'm trying to do like more like trying to do more halves. I think halves are my favorite.
Yeah, especially after doing so much. Yeah. I feel like that probably is a very appealing distance.
Yeah, and I'm doing High Rocks in June.
Cool. That's like the weight train. Like, I don't know too much about it, but are you doing it alone or?
I'm doing it with a friend.
Cool.
She invited me and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing it. Like, we're going to have fun. She was like, what's your goal time? I'm like, I just want to finish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about what place we're in. Just let's do this. Cause it was my first time like lifting like that. And it's her first time, but she's been killing it. And I've been like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to do
something new.
Yeah. Something new. And I want to do more races of just like leaning more into community and like just having to do fun runs. Like I was telling you before, just waking up and actually just doing a 5 miler just for fun and not just for training.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to do that until like June comes. And then that's when I start training, and then No Name comes, and trying to get people to the start line, the finish line of New York City Marathon, because it's great to be a pacer where you get to see people's journeys
and then watch and then when you walk, because you're going to run the race as well. It's just so much fun. Do you think some of the people that you train with are going to run with you in the race, like that pace group?
Yeah, I hope so. I want them to. Yeah. I would be like, oh, if you guys want to run with me, this is the route I'm taking.
That's so fun. Yeah. And that's the Sexy Pace crew.
Yeah.
Or like more about like the fun of it versus anything like crazy competitive.
And I would just probably drink around the whole entire New York City, because it's fun. New York City Marathon is so much fun. This is my 3rd time doing it, but it's just so much fun. I remember 2022 when it was brutally hot. And
I remember that. Yeah.
I was sweating at mile 1.
You ran the one that was really hot. Oh man.
I was like, oh my God. And they were like, take it easy. It's hot. And I was sweating.
Yeah.
So much.
That was a brutal year. Hopefully it's not like that this year.
I pray. I'm like, oh no, I want it to be like nice, like a nice cutesy, like little 50, 40 degrees, like, tank top weather, but kind of cold. I just want to experience everything again. Like, I feel like ever since everything that has happened to me last year, I want to just enjoy just racing and not worry about my time, because I was so focused on my time and knowing, okay, I got to beat this, I got to beat that. And I'm like, okay, Yvonne, like, what's your why? Why do you really run? And I had to sit down with myself and ask myself, what's my why in running, and why I love to run, why I love to be here and be around the community. And I feel like some people just will worry about like races where we don't know why, we forget why we run.
What is your why?
My why is my community, my family, my friends. And I feel like I'm doing this for like the women that are so scared to say no, for the kids that are so scared to say no, because I was a special ed kid where I was nonverbal. I was nonverbal for 3 years when I was younger, and I was so scared to say no, and I'm so scared to say yes. Like, I had people choose for me how to say yes or no, and I'm like, you know what, it's time to put your foot down, learn how to experience new things where others don't get to see, and take in everything. And it's like, when I run, like, I'm running for my health, and I'm running for people that cannot run and now that have no legs or no like body parts, like, and I see the Achilles, and I respect the Achilles people so much running. I'd be like, go Achilles, you're killing it. And now I get to figure out, like, oh my God, like, I was not running for a short period of time with just walking on one leg, and I had to put non-bare weight on my right leg. So now I get to experience that and say, oh my God, like, I'm running for me and I'm running for my community. I just want people to see that of what running is really all about. It's about community, and it's about bringing people together and why we're here. Because, you know, we always tend to forget why we're doing this in the first place. The medals are nice, the times are nice, the gear is nice and everything, but we have to remember why we're here and why we are running, because we tend to forget that. We tend to forget why we're running. And I feel like running has impacted my life so much, where it brought me to meeting new people like you, like different people within the community, where people have not only touched my heart in such a beautiful way, but like have been like saying like, I believe in you, like you could do this, like you know the mileage, and like people have just been like there for me. And it's like I created beautiful friendships and relationships where, you know, I now have people that I call my soul sisters or my brothers, or like they're like my mom and my dad. So it's like seeing that and to keep going and to experience that is just a blessing.
That's amazing. I think everything in there, that's kind of like sums up exactly what you're all about with the running journey.
Yes.
And it speaks to someone like me, because, you know, for someone who hasn't really been racing that much, I think it's so important to remember our why and like why we choose to run, and how there are people who aren't able to run, and that we get to run as a, like, you know, just a powerful statement of like, we get to do this. This is a choice that we're making. So if you'd like to go ahead and tell everyone where to find you if they want to connect with you on social media, what's your Instagram?
Okay, so my social media is Miss Outside with 5 E's, not 6 E's. We have a hiccup, but 5 E's. Follow me, get to connect with me, see my journey. I've been posting nonstop about the Speed Project. If you want to see more of the Speed Project, go to Miss Outside Solo. It's still on Instagram. We still have videos and lives that we did not so long ago, like literally a week. I can't believe it's been a week. But yeah, if you guys want to connect with me, don't be afraid to hit me up. I'm a loving person. I love free hugs.
Yeah, Yvonne is definitely a very fun person to follow on Instagram. I highly recommend giving her a follow. And yeah, until next time, just be fast. Just win.